Most people are taught to believe that money is the master and they are the servant. You are told to chase it, to beg for it, to prove that you deserve it. You are told that money is outside of you, in banks, markets, other people's hands, and that maybe if you are lucky, a little bit will trickle down to you. Neville Goddard would tell you that this is completely backwards. He would tell you that money does not lead you. You lead money. He would say that money does not find its own way to you by accident. It follows you by law. In this video, you are going to hear a different story about money, about your mind, and about who you truly are. You will hear how money can begin to find you, seek you out, and gather around you when you embody the secret of a millionaire. Neville's teaching can be summed up in one powerful idea. Imagination creates reality. Not some of reality, all of it. He did not mean imagination as in daydreaming. He meant the deep, inner images and feelings that you accept as true about yourself and your world. These inner states, repeated and emotionally accepted, harden into facts. What you feel yourself to be, you become. What you believe the world is, you keep meeting. You may say, but I do not feel rich. I have bills, I have debts, I have fears. Neville would not argue with your current facts. He would simply ask, what do you accept as the truth about you? Because that truth is the seed, and your life is the harvest. The secret of a millionaire in Neville's language is not a secret formula, not a hustle, not a trick. It is a state of consciousness. It is an inner identity, a way of being. A millionaire is someone who has accepted abundance, ease, and sufficiency as their natural state. Money is simply one of the shadows that this state throws into the world. Neville taught that every person lives from a state. There is a state of lack. There is a state of barely enough. There is a state of one day I will be rich. And there is a state of I am already provided for. I am already prosperous. I am already the person to whom money naturally comes. The mistake most people make is this. They try to change the shadow instead of the light. They try to change their bank balance while leaving their inner state of I am broke untouched. They try to work harder from the identity of someone who never has enough. This is why they feel stuck, tired, and resentful. Neville says, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. This is where the phrase, money finds me, comes alive. When you step into the state of the millionaire, money becomes something that responds to you. Opportunities start to show up. Ideas that you ignored before suddenly stand out. People think of you, recommend you, open doors for you. It can feel almost like magic, but it is not magic. It is law. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at a threshold. On one side is the old you, counting every dollar, feeling tight in your chest whenever you think of money, whispering to yourself, I hope it works out somehow. On the other side is a new state, a quiet inner knowing. I am provided for. I live in a friendly, abundant universe. Money loves to circulate to me and through me. Neville would not tell you to slowly walk toward that new state. He would tell you to assume it, to step into it as if it were already fact, to claim it in imagination first and let reality catch up. He called this living in the end. Instead of asking, how will I get the money? He would tell you to imagine the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not the process, the result, the end scene. If you desire the state of a millionaire, he would not tell you to picture stacks of cash. He would ask, how would you feel if money were no longer a problem for you? How would you stand? How would you breathe? How would you think about tomorrow? How would you answer the question, can you afford it? The secret is to take that feeling and wear it like clothing, on the inside, over and over again, especially before sleep, when your subconscious mind is most open. This is not pretending in a childish way. It is rehearsing the reality you are choosing at the level where reality is shaped. So, let us build a scene together. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine you open your banking app and you see more than enough. Not billions, not a cartoon amount, just more than enough, to the point that your body relaxes. You exhale. You feel safe. You feel options. You feel space. You are not scrambling. You are deciding. You are choosing. Now imagine a friend asking you, "How have you been with money lately?" And you answer with a small, calm smile. "Honestly, money has been finding me. Things keep working out. I feel taken care of." Notice that feeling, that sense of being carried. That is the doorway. That feeling is the state of money finds me. The mind that is used to struggle will protest here. It will say, "This is unrealistic. It is irresponsible. It is delusional." Neville would say that the truly unrealistic thing is to expect a new life while clinging to the same inner story. He would say that you are not being asked to deny reality. You are being invited to create it. The old story says, "I chase money. I hope I catch it." The new story says, "I am the source of value. I am aligned with abundance. Money is one of the ways life expresses its generosity toward me." The old story says, "I am dependent on the economy, on other people, on luck." The new story says, "I move from state to state by assumption. As I change, my world rearranges." Now listen carefully. This is important. When you begin to assume the state of money finds me, you may not see instant fireworks. What you will notice first is a shift inside you. You may feel slightly more relaxed when you think about paying a bill. You may catch yourself imagining better outcomes instead of worst-case scenarios. You may find yourself taking small actions that reflect more faith than fear. This is the alchemy Neville spoke of. The inner movement precedes the outer. The invisible state comes before the visible event. The world is a mirror, and mirrors do not change first. Think of one situation in your life where you wish money would show up. A debt, an opportunity you want to invest in, a move you want to make. Instead of repeating, "I cannot afford it," ask, "Who would I be if I could? How would I feel if this were already resolved in my favor?" Let that question sink in. Then, create a simple inner scene that implies it has already happened. Maybe you see yourself celebrating. Maybe you see the confirmation email. Maybe you hear yourself telling someone, "It worked out. The money came. It was easier than I thought." Return to that scene again and again, especially at night. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Feel the quiet certainty. As you do this, you are not just calming yourself. You are stepping into a new state, the state where money finds you. The secret of a millionaire is not that they love money more than you. It is that, consciously or unconsciously, they dwell in a state where wealth is normal, expected, and emotionally familiar. You can begin to make abundance feel familiar to your nervous system, even before the numbers change. You do this through repetition of feeling, not force of will. So let this sink in. Money finds the you who believes it can. Money finds the you who feels safe receiving it. Money finds the you who quietly knows, "I am worthy of support, opportunity, and overflow." You are not begging life. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are learning to move between states, to shift from lack to sufficiency, from fear to trust, from chasing to attracting. From this moment on, begin to notice every small sign of support in your life. A discount that appears, an unexpected refund, a client who reaches out, a meal that is paid for by someone else. Do not call it luck. Call it alignment. Call it evidence that you are stepping into the state where money finds you. Remind yourself, gently but firmly, I am not chasing. I am becoming. I am embodying the secret of a millionaire, which is simply this. I accept abundance as my natural state, and I let life prove me right. As you go about your day, walk a little slower. Breathe a little deeper. Make choices from the version of you who knows they are supported, not abandoned. Speak about money as if it is a helpful ally, not a cruel master. Treat every dollar you do have with gratitude and respect, as if it were a friendly messenger telling you, more is on the way. You are not just fixing your finances. You are awakening to who you really are. The imaginer, the chooser, the one who can decide in silence. From today forward, I live in a world where money finds me. Hold that decision. Feel it. Return to it, especially when doubts arise. Because in Neville's words, your faith is loyalty to the unseen reality, and when you are loyal to the state of abundance, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. Money finds you when you finally remember. You are the source. You are the vessel. You are the millionaire in seed form, becoming visible one assumption at a time. Everyone tells you the same tired story about billionaires. They say it is about grinding, about longer hours, about luck, about being born in the right family with the right last name and the right connections. They say, those people are different from you. That is the myth. The deeper truth is quieter, almost embarrassing in its simplicity. Billionaire is not a number. Billionaire is an identity. It is a self-concept. It is a state of consciousness you either inhabit or keep worshiping from a distance. Neville Goddard called it assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. In Jung's language, we could say, it is the moment you stop orbiting around the archetype and let it move into you. You stop watching the king from the audience, and you take the throne within your own inner kingdom. You. Not a better version of you one day. You now, at this threshold. You've been taught to chase results. More money, more status, more proof. But there is a strange law moving beneath all of that. You only ever experience what matches who you believe you are, not what you want. What you are in your own eyes. So if deep down you are still the one who struggles, the one who just gets by, the one who never quite makes it, your life reshapes itself around that script again and again, like a spell you forgot you're casting. The billionaire self-concept is not arrogance. It is not greed. It is a recognition. I am the source. I am the vessel through which abundance flows into the world. Think of your psyche like a vast inner forest. Jung called it the collective unconscious, a field of symbols, old as humanity, living inside you. In that forest, money is not numbers on a screen. It is energy, circulation, life force. The billionaire archetype is not some villain in a suit. It is the king, the queen, the magician of resources, the wise steward who can move energy at scale. When you reject wealth, you often reject that archetype in yourself. You banish your inner king to the shadows, and then wonder why your life feels small, why money stays away, why opportunities always just miss you. Neville said imagination is God in action. Jung would nod and say, yes, the self, The deepest center speaks in images, symbols, dreams. So when you imagine yourself as a billionaire, not in ego fantasy, but in felt reality, you are not pretending. You are calling an archetype into the throne room of your soul. Let me give you a scene. You close your eyes. You are walking through a dark forest at night. The only sound is your breath, the soft crunch of leaves, and somewhere far away, the murmur of water. You feel small. You feel like your old story, trying, hoping, worrying. Then ahead you see it, a clearing lit by silver moonlight. In the center, a stone table like an altar. On it lies a simple object, a black card with your name, a symbol of limitless resources. Around the clearing stand figures in silence. King, queen, magician, warrior, each wearing your face. They don't speak, they only watch. You step forward. Your heart races. You think, who am I to take this? Who am I to hold this level of power, this level of wealth? That is your old self-concept speaking. That is the orphan archetype, the exile, the one who believes they are forever on the outside looking in. You reach out anyway. Your hand trembles. You touch the card. And the moment you pick it up, the scene shifts. You are no longer a visitor. You are the owner of the clearing. You realize, this was always your forest, your altar, your throne. The voices inside you quiet. A new sentence arises from somewhere deep, like an oracle in your chest. I am the kind of person to whom billions can safely come. That sentence is the doorway. That is the identity shift. Billionaire self-concept is not a shopping list of things you'll buy. It is the felt certainty. I am trusted by life with vast resources. I am stable, grounded, and wise enough to move that much energy through me. I do not chase money. Money orbits around my value, my vision, my being. You see, the mistake most people make is trying to earn their way into a new identity. They tell themselves, when I have the money, then I'll finally feel like that person. Neville reverses this. He says, feel like that person now, and the world must reorganize around it. Identity first, evidence second. From a Jungian view, that is inner alchemy. Lead into gold. You take the dense, heavy belief of, I'm not enough, I'm not that person, and you place it into the fire of imagination, of repeated inner scenes, of new self-talk, until it melts. In its place, a new configuration of your psyche, one where the billionaire archetype is no longer a stranger, but a resident. So ask yourself honestly, softly, if I truly already were a billionaire in my self-concept, how would my nervous system feel in this moment? How would I walk into a room? What kinds of conversations would I have? What problems would no longer feel like threats, but simple puzzles? Not one day. Now. Let that version of you answer. Let them speak. Let them advise you on today's decisions, today's emails, today's prices, today's boundaries. This is the inner work. You rehearse the state until it becomes second nature. You sit, you breathe, you close your eyes, and you drop into that forest again and again, visiting the clearing with the stone table, the altar, the black card, the watching archetypes. You pick up that identity, not once, but daily. You walk with it. You fall asleep in it, as Neville taught, drifting off with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Of course, the shadow will react. Part of you will whisper, this is delusional, this is too much. You'll be greedy, you'll lose yourself, people will hate you. That is the dragon at the gate of every initiation. From a Jungian lens, that dragon is your shadow, around wealth. All your fears, projections, and judgments about rich people given form. If you don't meet that dragon consciously, you will sabotage yourself unconsciously. So you don't fight it. You listen. You say, "Show me. What am I afraid I'll become if I step into billionaire self-concept?" Let the images come. Maybe you see yourself cold, alone, corrupt. Good. Now you know the shadow you must integrate. You respond with a new vow, a new inner law. As I rise in wealth, I rise in integrity. As I gain power, I deepen in empathy. As my influence expands, so does my devotion to the collective. This is crucial, because billionaire, in its healed archetypal form, is not a hoarder. It is the Grail king or queen, the one whose cup overflows, whose abundance feeds the land. So understand this. Billionaire is not a bank balance. Billionaire is a role in the great drama of the world's soul. You are not begging to join a club. You are considering whether you will accept a sacred responsibility to steward resources at a scale that amplifies whatever is already in your heart. That is why the inner shift must come first. You do not want billions sitting on top of a wounded, unexamined psyche. You want billions flowing through a self that is anchored, awake, aligned. So I will say it again, so your unconscious can hear it clearly. Billionaire is an identity, not an outcome. Billionaire is a state of consciousness, not a scoreboard. Billionaire is a self-concept you inhabit, not a prize you chase. When you consistently are that in imagination, in feeling, in micro-actions, life has no choice but to mirror it back. Not overnight, not in a straight line, but inevitably. You stand right now at a threshold. On one side, the familiar story of almost, someday, and who am I to want that much? On the other side, a new myth where you are not the beggar at the castle gate, but the architect of the castle itself. So here is your initiation, spoken like a quiet ritual. If you choose, repeat these words inside yourself, not as a spell to control the world, but as a declaration of who you are becoming. I step now into the billionaire self-concept. I allow the archetype of wise abundance to live in me. I am safe with power. I am trusted with wealth. I am a vessel, a mirror, an oracle of prosperity for the collective. I accept the responsibility of this identity with humility and courage. Breathe. Feel how your body responds. Maybe it trembles. Maybe it relaxes. Either way, you have knocked on a new door in the depths of your psyche. From here, your task is simple, and it will ask everything of you. Return to this state. Rehearse it. Act from it. Let the old orphan story fall away like a snakeskin. Walk forward as the one who already carries the crown of abundance on their invisible head. This is your identity shift. This is your alchemy. This is your invitation to stop circling wealth like a distant star and realize you were the sun all along. You have not failed with money. You have only been faithful to the wrong idea of yourself. You were taught to worship numbers, credit scores, and interest rates. You were taught that your bank balance tells you who you are. You were taught that debt means you are behind, broken, and that abundance is for other people. None of that is true. Your outer world is not a judge. It is an echo. It is the delayed reflection of what you have accepted as true in your imagination. Neville Goddard called this the law of assumption. He did not say, try to think positive and hope. He said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption, and it will harden into fact. Debt is not your problem. Your assumption about yourself is the problem. When you assume, I am always behind, Life will faithfully mirror that idea. When you assume money is hard, it takes forever, people like me never get ahead, then opportunities will pass you by, clients will not show up, and every check will come with a bill attached. You are not cursed. You are simply loyal to a concept of yourself that no longer serves you. So this video is not about getting money. It is about changing who you are in your own mind. From the one in debt to the one for whom 10K months are normal, natural, and easy to receive. Let us begin. Imagine a person. They are sitting at a kitchen table late at night. Bills are spread out like a deck of losing cards. There is a credit card statement, overdue notices, a bank account close to zero. The phone has been buzzing with numbers they no longer answer. Their body is tense. Their mind is repeating one idea. I cannot do this. I do not see a way out. I am stuck. Now listen carefully. Neville would not tell this person to fight the bills. He would not tell them to be realistic. He would tell them to close their eyes, turn away from the facts, and enter a different state. The facts say debt. The state says abundance. You may say, but that is just pretending. No, pretending is weak and half-hearted. Assumption is different. Assumption is acceptance. It is the inner decision. I am now the person who easily receives 10K months. This is who I am. The person at that table pushes the papers aside for a moment. They close their eyes. They imagine something very simple. They hear a friend's voice saying, I am so proud of you. You are doing 10K months now. You did it. They feel the warmth of that praise. They feel the relief in their chest, the peace in their stomach. They imagine opening their banking app and seeing multiple deposits that add up to more than $10,000 this month. They do not try to figure out how. They only accept that this is so. This is how change begins. Neville taught that imagination is the only reality. Everything you now see was once only imagined. The phone you use, the home you live in, the job you work, the amount you earn each month. All of it began as an invisible idea. The problem is not that you cannot imagine. The problem is that you have been imagining the wrong scene over and over. You imagine the payment will be declined. You imagine the client will say no. You imagine, at the end of the month, I will barely make it. Then you say, see, I knew it. You are not predicting, you are creating. So how do you move from debt to 10K months using Neville's law of assumption? You do it in 3 simple but powerful movements: choosing, assuming, and persisting. First, you choose your new self. Do not start with the debt. Do not start with the problem. Start with the end. What do you want to be true about you, not I want more money, in a vague way? Say instead, I am a person who receives at least $10,000 a month in a calm, steady, and enjoyable way. Make it clear. Make it simple. Make it about you, not about the numbers alone. Second, you assume the feeling. This is where Neville's work becomes alive. You are not repeating dry affirmations. You are entering the scene. At night, before sleep, when your mind is quiet and your body is relaxed, you close your eyes and step into a short, vivid scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled. You might imagine your future self checking their bank account and smiling. You might imagine seeing 10,842 or 12,347 as the total income for the month. You might imagine a loved one saying, you did it. You are really doing 10K months now. In that scene, you do not wish. You remember. You look back on debt as something past. You feel the relief as if it is already done. You let your body feel it. Your shoulders drop. You breathe deeper. Your face softens into a quiet smile. This feeling is the secret. Neville said that feeling is the creative act. When the feeling is real, the outer world must rearrange itself to match. Third, you persist no matter what the outer world shows you. In the morning, the bills might still be there. The debt may not vanish overnight. But you do not go back to the old story. You remember, my imagination is the cause. The facts are the echo. You carry yourself as one who is already on 10K months. You make decisions from this new state. You speak from this new state. You walk into your day no longer as the one in debt, but as the one whose income is rising steadily and easily. Then something subtle happens. An idea comes to you for a new offer, a side business, a promotion to ask for, or a way to package your skills. A person appears who needs exactly what you can do. A phone call, a message, an opportunity arrives that you could not have predicted. This is not magic in the childish sense. It is law. When your inner self changes, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your results change. When your results change, your bank balance follows. But the origin is always the same. It began with assumption. You may say, but what about the debt? Do I just ignore it? No. You handle what must be handled. You take practical steps. You may call the creditors, make arrangements, consolidate, or plan. But you do it from a different state. You are no longer the desperate debtor calling for mercy. You are the calm, confident creator arranging details while knowing that your income is already expanding. You are facing the shadow, but you are not identifying with it anymore. The old you says, I am stuck in debt. This is who I am. The new you says, I once had debt, but I am now the person who earns 10K months and clears it with ease. Feel the difference. One is a prison, the other is a path. Neville often told stories of people who were in impossible situations. They were in poverty, in dead-end jobs, with no obvious way forward. They did not start with action. They started with imagination. A woman in modest circumstances imagined herself writing checks without concern. She imagined herself giving freely, blessing others. She fell asleep night after night in the feeling of being financially free. Without strain, her circumstances changed. A new job, unexpected income, and gifts from others. Your story can be like that. In fact, it is waiting to be like that, if you will give up your loyalty to the old version of yourself. Right now, as you listen to these words, you can decide. You can say within yourself, from this moment on, I assume that I am the person who receives 10K a month or more. I assume that opportunities seek me out. I assume that I am guided to the right actions and the right people. I assume that my debt is shrinking and my income is rising. Do not wonder how it will happen. The how belongs to life, to God, to the deeper intelligence that moves all things. Your part is to choose the end and live there in imagination. Tonight, when you lie down to sleep, do not rehearse the arguments, the worries, and the numbers. That is what you have been doing for years, and it has only produced more of the same. Instead, rehearse the victory. Create one simple scene that would be true if you were already living 10K months. Hear the words. Feel the emotion. See just enough to make it real, then repeat it gently until you drift into sleep. This is not a one-time event. This is a new way of being. Every time fear rises and says, but what if it does not work? You gently return to the assumption. You say, it is already done in my inner world. The outer must follow. From debt to 10K months is not a jump in numbers. It is a jump in identity. You are not trying to climb out of a hole. You are stepping into a new self and allowing life to match it. First within, then without. First in feeling, then in fact. You have been faithful to the image of yourself as someone who struggles. You can now be faithful to the image of yourself as someone who flourishes. Choose your new self. Assume the feeling of the wish, fulfilled. Persist, no matter what the facts say for a time. If you do this, truly and consistently, your world must change. Your income must rise. Your debt must shrink. Your life will begin to reorganize around the new assumption you carry. This is Neville's law of assumption. This is your invitation. Begin tonight. Close your eyes. Step into the end. And live from it until your 10K months are as ordinary, as natural, and as expected as the sunrise.